Hello and welcome to another just below average track guide where I squeeze my portly body into my skimpiest speedo and climb to the... I ran out of breath. Where I squeeze myself into my skimpiest speedo and climb to the highest height. Where I squeeze myself into my skimpiest speedo and climb the steps to the highest... Fuck it. I've tried this too many times. I'm tired. I'm fed up. You know the deal. Just below average lap. We're at RUDSKOGEN, or however it's pronounced, in the F3. This is the lap. Okay, so that was a 1 minute 14.922, and as you'll see, I didn't even start the lap very well. I've run wide here, which has compromised my entry onto the start-finish straight. Even so, we're up through the gears, all the way up to 6, keep it over to the right, and you want to start braking, boom, right there. You can hear I've just eased off, hit the brakes just before we get to the curbs on the right-hand side. It's only about 55-60% brake pressure you need here. There aren't actually many big braking zones. I think there are maybe 3, one of which is significantly more than the other, 2 which are about 50% brake, and the others it's literally a gentle rub, if even needed. But on my lap I did a couple of little gentle braking rubs. What you're going to do here is, obviously, like I say, you're going to start braking just before the curb, only about 60% brake pressure, and I actually get off the brakes quite early as well. Throw it into the left-hand side and take plenty of that curb on the left-hand side, but it is a balancing act because too much and you will bounce off the curb, sending the car to the right, which will compromise you for the next long sweeping right-hander, which is a real key bend to making up time because it sets you up for the second longest straight on the circuit. I actually completely nail this, so watch this, you're going to like this. That's perfect. 2 wheels still just on the inside of the curb, rest of the car up on the curb. You see I get a tiny little skip, but I'm still perfectly set up to hug this next bend. And I do hug it all the way around until you see in fact it's in line with the blue cone roughly, but I was using the darker patch off the green and the end of the gravel as the point where I then start applying the power, letting the car open up again and drifting out over to the left hand side for this next straight. So you go, I'm back on the power, car's drifting over, up through the gears again, 3rd, 4th, 5th, up to 6th, and you head downhill, keeping it flat, no braking. And then just there, I've just backed off and I'm going to drop it down to 5th gear. Again, I think I've rubbed the brake very slightly. I mean, that's basically my foot just resting on the brake. I don't think I do any more braking than that. Possibly should have done here because you'll see I cost myself maybe 2 or 3 tenths of a second in a moment. But anyway, down to 5th, let it run wide, down to 4th to try and cut back into this second part of this apex. Sorry, the second apex of this corner. And yeah, I've probably got 2 cars' widths that I could have played with here, which would have made this a lot neater. But I managed to hold it together, back on the power, 4th gear, little lift, click the curb, little lift again, click the curb, and then you want to get it, this is a double apex again, you want to get it tight on this first apex, down to 3rd gear, about 40% brake pressure. But then after you've hit this first apex, don't worry about letting the car then straighten up and drift out, so you can pull it back in for the second apex, which straightens you up nicely for a run downhill to the hairpin. So I've let the car run out there, then back in, keep it nice and tight here, then start feeding the power on now. Up through the gears again, coming downhill. I'm going to try and see if I can find a braking point for you. Right, this is going to be really hard for you to see, I think, but just in front of my car, there's a definite colour change in the tarmac, about a car's length ahead of where the front of my car ends now. That is my braking point, roughly, for this next hairpin, which is the hardest braking zone. Swing it in, clip it nice and tight, so that you can get the car straightened out, back on the power as early as you possibly can for the charge up the hill into the final sector. Once again, I think I smashed it. Well, I smashed it in a just below average kind of level. But that felt pretty perfect, because I'm already off the brakes, half throttle at this point, feathering it a little bit, and then back on the power, up the hill. Let the car run out to the right-hand side. Third gear, swing it in, plenty of curb again. No braking here. Just off the throttle, back on the power, stick to the right. Same again, up to fourth. Again, I don't think I brake. I think I just have a little lift just to tighten it up as you take this. Plenty of curb on this this left-hander. Yeah, a little lift, and then down to third. In fact, you probably use second for a better exit there, but hug it nice and tight. Then we're back on the power, nice and early. Again, this is about as much curb as you want to take on the outside. You can take a bit of a liberty. You won't get an off-track, but I think that is absolutely the limit. I mean, technically, I'm all four wheels over the white line, but I didn't get an off-track, so it's all good as far as I'm concerned. But you don't want to go any further than that. And then it's balls to the wall, full beans. Send it down the straight. And we are homing in on the finish line. Right there, 114.922. With, like I say, probably 3 or 4 tenths easily findable in that just by tightening up a couple of those bends. So there you go. That is just below average lap of RUDSKOGEN in Norway. Very fun track. If you are interested in watching any of our live races, please check us out at that address that will be up there somewhere, probably. Please do all the like, comment, follow, share, subscribe things. Thank you very much for your company. I hope this was of use and interest to some of you, and I will see you on the next one.